what's there left to say? Throw your stones the river, like me it drifts away. I would watch you stare, I would watch you stare. Oh, but there's no one there. We can figure this out. Put your feet down. We are the lucky ones. Swallow your choice, it's done. Terrified of what's left remains unsaid until you break my mind. Until you break my thought.
Till you break my thought. I'm throwing wishes in the wild in hopes that you will keep them for yourself. And know there was a time when we never let go, never let go. Ooh, we never let go.
We can figure this out. Put your feet down. We are the lucky ones. Swallow your choice, it's done. Terrified of what's left remains unsaid until you break my mind. Until you break my thought.
Till you break my thought.
These sticks and stones will break.
They will break, they will break, they will break. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. No, no.
Marching down the street in my lightning feet, and the shines too fine to be real. Fake it so I care for the glisten and the glare, and now it's something.
fixing my stream setup. What is up, everyone? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. My name's Nico. I go by Cointrick and Cointrick Twitch online. And tonight, I'm just chilling, answering questions, practicing some flair, maybe making a drink, but I'm definitely starting with a shot. This right here is just regular Coca-Cola, unsponsored. I just like starting my live streams with something refreshing. AF Zen. Venus. It's Twitch. We're allowed to do that. As long as you're not being graphic. I'm getting closer to actually mastering the bump on the elbow. I'm getting, like, ironically, I'm getting pretty good at bouncing it on my shoulder, but I don't think that's a move most people would notice. Alright. Start with a shot of tequila. Woo! Now shots! Yeah, I poured the shot. I did it. Take the shot! How is that not... That should be the sound whenever someone subscribes. I don't know what movie that's from, but I promise you that's a line somewhere. I have it. Take the shot! Take the shot! Alright, guys. Raise them if you got them. If you don't have a glass, that's okay. And if you do have a glass and you don't have alcohol in it, that's okay as well. But thank you guys for tuning in, making this possible. Here's to you. Cheers. I forgot I sort of had a sore throat. It'd be nice if I had some rum to zhuzh up this Coca-Cola. Now that I have a flare bottle, I was really hesitant for a long time because I was worried that if I got a flare bottle, I would be more encouraged to do dumb stuff with the glass bottles that I have. Like that. Whereas before, if I was throwing behind my head, I would do this number. We'll cut to camera 4 so you guys can see this a little bit better. I would pass it, like, right here. And then I would just go, boop, hey, yeah, that counts, right? And I would do the same thing here, which is hardly even really a pass. I'm basically just rolling my hand around. Pull your finger in, roll your hand around. The green screen change, it looks good. Hey, thank you. Another thing that we're changing is I'm actually live on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Which is something that we used to do here on the channel. Oh man. 4 years ago. I stopped doing it because there are some terms of service or conditions where if you're affiliated or at all being paid through Amazon or Twitch, then your content isn't supposed to be live and available on any other platform for, I believe, 24 hours. And even then, theoretically, it's supposed to be modified somehow, I think. But I talked to my producers and people about it, and they were like, yeah, you should just do it anyway, though. So here we are. What is that? Why does that feel... I don't know why that's easier with my right hand than with my left. Also, I can do it in one place. It just feels weird to do it traveling. And I feel like the ideal would be to make it so that it almost looks like one part of the bottle doesn't move. So it would be like... I don't know. In general, it's safer to just do it straight up and down. Because if when you're moving, you got to be moving everything along with it. I was that kid that got very fidgety during class, by the way. That was me. This is why we can't have nice things. Israel Smith, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? Also, ow. Also the first person from YouTube. I just realized I need to take it off of Restream chat, which is a whole other kerfuffle. Give me 1 second, guys. And we're back. I figured, I was like, you know, there are bound to be some hiccups when I'm using this new software that I have, well, not a new software, but a software I haven't used in like 20 years. And I feel like I need to like blow up chat a little bit in the background so it's easier for everyone to read, including myself. I wonder if I was gonna make a drink, what should I make? Well, I just finished a video on margaritas, so I actually kind of don't want to make another one of those. And I feel like the next video I want to make is going to be the last word, and then after that, a video on a Long Island iced tea, and then after that, just a video describing different kinds of like cordials and things from, you know, ones that you're most likely to use behind the bar, and then ones that you're like maybe gonna use for some specialty drinks, and then just some really weird ones. So I think probably a last word for now. Almost. I'm gonna use a citron gin from Malfi, and then Luxardo Maraschino. Green chartreuse. And then lime. Now I also need my tools. I don't really want to use this guy. I use the big tins that I have for this one. Grab some ice. I'm going to serve this in a Nick and Nora. Almost. That's what happens when you don't go to work for a while. There we go. If at first you don't succeed. Alright, so the recipe for a last word is relatively simple. It's going to be all equal parts, all 4 of these ingredients, shaken, and then typically it's going to be served up. So, start with this guy over here. Grab one of these to measure. We're going to do 3/4 ounce each of these things. So 3/4 ounce gin. You don't need to use like an infused gin like this one. A regular gin would probably be more canonical. And then 3/4 Luxardo. Three-quarter green chartreuse. I feel like I have to like cap my bottles after each time that I do this, otherwise I will forget and I'll put them away, and that's how you get fruit flies. And then, for my lime, actually, I'm going to use this juicer. Nice. Happened to get exactly 3/4 of an ounce. Ooh, cocktail's too cold. Sweet, tart, botanical. Mine's probably a little bit sweeter than it normally should be because of that extra lemon flavored gin that I have. Just so no one thinks that I dropped it. I have had Butterfingers this entire live stream though, I will say. Interesting. I wonder. I think something's going wrong with chat. Give me 1 second. Alright. It should be a little bit easier for everybody to read the green screen now. Surface tension on this thing is pretty intense. There we go. Now I can lift it without spilling it everywhere. Which also reminds me, I need to move camera 1, which is this guy over here. I've been told to move him on the other side, which I may do now during the live stream. If you guys want to see what that process is like. What would be the best way to do that? I feel like would be to use some sort of picture-in-picture. Why don't we do this? Yeah, okay. That way you guys can still read chat. Dear God, that is a horror show. And we'll do this. Put me in a corner somewhere so you guys can see the camera moving. How'd that happen? quick, actually. Hold on. I have to try and step around all the cables so that I don't have to cut the live stream off. This. Ah, there we go. Alright, first try, we'll see how that looks. I managed to not move camera 3 a whole lot, which is this one here. Synchro Ambi, what's up? Kristen, welcome. Hello, hello. What drink are you making? I here have made a last word because that's the next video I'm supposed to record. But I just finished making a bunch of margaritas for the videos that will come out next week. So I just got tired of those and made this instead. I asked for an Alabama Slammer while at a restaurant and the waitress didn't know what it was. I felt embarrassed, but the bartender knew what it was. That's, I mean, relatively common. I mean, I'm sorry that that happened to you. That shouldn't happen, but the reality of the fact is that servers don't get the same kind of training as bartenders, which is why, on the whole, bartenders typically get paid more, and it's meant to be a coveted position. So, a lot of the times, it's not worth the effort to, like, memorize all of that extra stuff. But a good server will, not a great one, but a good one will do what yours did, probably, and just ask the bartender, hey, do we have everything to make this? Which is what I used to do when I was on the floor. How are you today, from Kristen? I'm doing well. I'm excited to be live streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time for the first time in like years. Oh, this reminds me. Let's see how camera 1 looks. Oh, I hate that crossfade. Can we not do that? That'd be great. Alright, so camera 1 needs to come harder to center. I don't like it being sent, because then it's gonna look weird. It's just gonna look like you're getting zoomed in on my face. I like that it should feel like a whole separate angle. Rookie Reaper, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. Also, I don't like where my eye line is. I feel like I should be taller in this shot. I feel like I should be taller in all situations, actually. I don't like the camera there. It would work better if I could move the TV a little bit, which I can do, but then the TV, because it's on this like swivel bracket arm that comes out like this, so I can like pull it away from the wall, but then it's just going to be in everyone's way if it's just permanently pulled out from the wall. Oh god. Alright, bear with me. I'm going to try and adjust this camera one more time. One more time. Alright, that's as far as I can get it safely from its original position. I feel like you'd be a villain that everyone in the universe loves for some reason. I get compared to Loki a lot. I feel like I need to fix this whole where chat is located. The reason chat shows up that way, by the way, is because that intro scene that you guys see at the beginning of every live stream is behind this layer, technically, with all of these cameras on it. So I wonder if I should just have those on 2 separate layers, or create a macro that does the 2 things that I want to do. Sounds like it would complicate my life, though. In reality, actually, not the easiest thing to do, but probably the smartest thing to do would be to replace the green screen with an actual TV. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not made of money. Would I like to do that? Yes, absolutely, for sure.
Wait a second. God damn it!
Why I do that. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it, and welcome to the stream. I feel like if I were a villain, like, the kind of villainy that I would get up to wouldn't be anything that would tremendously screw up anybody's life. I feel like if I were some kind of, like, TV villain, TV or movie villain, or novel villain, I don't know. If I was a bad guy in any way, I would be, like, one of those guys who is only evil because they make everyone else's life slightly more difficult. Like, I would be Left Sock Man. I steal everybody's left socks. Except for Oscar Pistorius, because that would be fucked up. I couldn't get away with that. Because I think he only has his right leg? I don't know. Don't Google it. Nobody Google that. What is your D&D character race and everything but spells? Well, luckily my character doesn't have any spells. He doesn't have any racial spells, but his class is barbarian. But my character, his name is Oren Issa. He is a bugbear. He's level 6. So he has 3 levels in barbarian, and he's taken Path of the Beast. And then he also has 3 levels in fighter, where he took Rune Knight for his subclass. I get to get away with a lot of like really crazy stuff in D&D because I use D&D Beyond for a lot of our resources, and I share them with the DM. I'm not the DM of this particular campaign, but I have all of the source books like unlocked, and all of the ones coming out I have them pre-ordered. I always make sure I have everything all of the time. So yeah, so it's been fun. I have I'm using some variable rules from Tasha's. My race is from I think it's from Elemental Evil Player's Companion. Or what is it called? It's something Guide to Elemental Evil. I don't remember. But that's where Bugbears, Goblins, the original stat block player stat block for orcs comes from. Rune Knight is from... Is Rune Knight? I think Rune Knight is also from Tasha's. I was gonna say maybe it's from Mythic Odysseys of Theros, but I don't think it is. And then Path of the Beast is also from Tasha's, I think. So yeah, that's my character. Not his whole shtick, but one of the main things that makes him interesting to play is that he relies on so many mechanics that tremendously alter his already kind of not hideous but very stark appearance. He is a 7.5 foot tall bugbear that travels with a tiefling rogue who is always under the effects of disguised self, so he almost never looks like a tiefling anymore, and a Mark of the Storm half elf bard. So I stick out a lot. Nice. And I use D&D Beyond. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Of all of the resources I've used for D&D just in general, all of the computer resources I use D&D Beyond for all of the player stats and character building and stuff like that, stat blocks, finding items when I'm DMing, character creation when I'm a player, and Roll20 for running the online games with the players, Discord for voice and video, Tailspire for 3D tabletop. I've also played... We used something else at one point, too. And we use 2 Minute Tabletop to make all of our tokens and maps right now. And I think that's everything, unless, like, it gets crazy once you include all this other, like, physical equipment that we use here. Because when we stream D&D here, which we do every other week, Sunday, 7 p.m. EST. So normally we would be doing that today, but this is one of our in-between weeks. Which normally we would use to try and talk about D&D a little bit, but since I'm trying to stream on YouTube and Twitch, I'm kind of just like leaving the floor open. But yeah. My end goal for my D&D character, Left Sock Man is a supervillain in the making. Yeah, his final form, Left Sock Man's final form would be changing all of the outlets in your house from American to European, or vice versa. Like from direct current to alternating current. Or stealing all of the like USB bricks in your house so you can't charge your phones. But one of my end goals for Orin and this mechanic where he can not change his appearance, but like he has to change his appearance in order to do things in combat. If you're not familiar, in order to use Path of the Beast, you're like not every time you rage, but when you rage, you have the option to like manifest natural weapons. So your hands become claws, your teeth become fangs. You can grow a tail, or if you already have a tail, you can attack with it. Stuff like that. You choose one of those whenever you rage, and they have different benefits. So, like, if you choose claws, you get multi-attack, because you can attack with both. If you get fangs, then you can make an attack to regain health, as long as you are below half health. And when you grow a tail, you can use a reaction to add its damage dice, basically, to your AC, which can be huge if you're playing like a fully unarmored barbarian. And then Rune Knight allows you to increase your character's size. So Orin is already normally 7.5 feet tall, which is nearly the upper limit of what is considered like medium or like normal humanoid height in D&D. And then 8 feet is actually that limit, theoretically, as far as the book goes. But with his Rune Knight ability called Giant's Might, which you get when you pick Rune Knight at level 3, he can become large, I think as a bonus action, which means, because of the way that it's phrased, it doesn't say that he doubles in height or anything like that, or that he's under the effects of the Enlarge spell, which would double your height. Because he just becomes large, he can technically become anywhere from like 8 feet tall, which is technically the smallest you can be and still be considered large. Large also has other implications. Or 16 feet tall. I, personally, would rather see Orin become 16 feet tall, because then his grip would be enough to, like, basically reach all, like, halfway around someone's hips, like a regular humanoid, and just throw them. I feel like Left Sock Man can't be stopped. He's too strong. I was about to ask if this is a D&D stream. Is the info confusing? Because sometimes, and like, I'm using new software to change, like, the labels and everything for the streams, so I 100% might have screwed that up. And we do normally do D&D on Sundays, though, in some form or fashion. I would have Jean-Luc here, but he is passed out on that couch behind the camera. And I would show him to you, but that would, one, be a gross invasion of his privacy, and also too much effort for me. I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. I really can't speak properly. Oh, I feel like I've outgrown being the guy who, like, beats you up for using the wrong your or their or to. As long as it's not gratuitous, Because I think I'm most guilty of using the simple your, Y-O-U-R, in all instances. Not you are, like the letter U and the letter R. That would make more sense, and that would be a little bit more ubiquitous in text. I don't know why I do that. I just don't think about it. English isn't my first language. I'm going to stick to that excuse until I die. Last Word's an alright cocktail. It's a bit sweet for me. And I did mention this one is sweeter than normal because of the lemon flavored gin that I used. Face cam just feels weird right there. It feels like it's too centered. It feels too symmetrical, like there's no depth. What do you guys think? I'm uncomfortably close to that camera. That feels very weird. Oh, but if you guys were ever wondering what I look like when I'm, or what I look at when I'm here at the bar, I'll show you guys really quick. We're going on an adventure. That is a cable. Just hangs there. Oh, hold on. We take that. When we play D&D, by the way, you guys can probably only barely hear me, but we play from here. And I pull this guy over. There you go. Get back over there now. That's good. And then that fridge has all of my vermouths, infusions, and syrups. Can you guys? Oh, you can't really see the table that we play D&D on, but there it is. It's a big poker table. Set this down the right way so that I don't cause an electrical fire. Stairs, dartboard. There's another TV in there. Those are more cables. There are more instruments. And then... And we're back. That's actually the first time I've been able to show everyone what the whole bar looks like. So that was actually pretty cool. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys could hear me when I was describing everything that goes on over there on that table. Do you think it's weird that me and a 13-year-old play D&D if they understand it? Depends on how old you are. I don't want to know, but it depends on how old you are and what kind of game you're playing in, I guess. Oh, thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. Knighthood, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? Some stuff I can do without really looking. I still sort of need to see the bottle in my periphery. But we learned this, I think, the middle of almost a week ago, because it was like Wednesday or something that I did that, or Tuesday, that I can't do flare. I can do like contact flare, meaning like as long as nothing really leaves my hand, I can do that stuff blindfolded. But anything where it's like, even then I have to kind of see it out the corner of my eye. Anything where I can't see the bottle and it leaves my hand, I can't really do. I think this was the move I tried to do. Shot 45. Thank you, Hannah. Woo! Alright, you guys know what that means. Hopefully. if you don't know what that means, we do something called, we used to call it Shot 30. We're temporarily calling it Shot 45 just to keep everyone healthy and out of the hospital. So I make and or take a drink every 45 minutes. I started the live stream with one. This one's just going to be a shot. There are a few rules, right? I have to have all the ingredients to make it. You guys are allowed to request stuff, but I have to have the ingredients to make it. It can't be over, what was it, 100? It can't be over 120 proof? No, it can't be over 125 proof. I have to have the ingredients to do it. If it's a shot, all of the ingredients have to be liquor, which just means I'm not going to do a cement mixer or anything gross like that. And then the fourth rule is that I can veto something if I feel like it's going to be too distracting, right? So if you want to see me make a Ramos Gin Fizz, it's not going to happen for free. That drink takes anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes to make unless you have really specialized equipment like a whip canister with a charging kit and stuff like that.
Wait a second. God damn it!
No, what is this? Venix, or Venix maybe is how that's pronounced. 8207. Welcome, thank you for tuning in, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it, man. I started playing at 13. I'm old enough to drink, and I play with imagination. People who maybe aren't familiar with D&D, it's a form of collaborative storytelling, so it doesn't always happen on a computer or like on a tabletop with like figures and things that you can move around. A lot of games actually happen in what we call theater of the mind, which is I think a sufficiently nerdy way to say we play with our imaginations sometimes. I put enough 2 times. Dang. You put enough times. You did it. Nobody clipped that. It's funny that, like, I was talking to my producers about this. I think this was 3 weeks ago. Not my producers. That's not true. They were on this call with me, but they weren't talking. I was talking to my editor and my content director, we'll call him. He doesn't actually have a formal title. Or if he does, I don't know what it is, which is weird. They kind of had to make this pitch that, like, I needed to... Not that I need to be more goofy when I'm on camera. I just need to be less uptight. So there's going to be a lot more weird non sequiturs and things that I will say that might get me in trouble, if they haven't already. Too late. Thanks. Why I do that. Do not do as I do. Also, sometimes don't do as I say. Do your own research. I'm not your dad. You're not my dad! What am I taking a shot of? Oh. Well, Reed and I put a sufficient dent in the Fernet Branca. Pour it up, it's in a cup, drinking rainbow. Fernet, sponsor me. Alright, if you guys have never had Fernet Branca before, that's okay, you're not super duper missing out. Realistically, the biggest thing with Fernet is that it is a bitter mentholated Amaro, which is an Italian liqueur. It just occurred, I think that's the first bottle I've done flair with that had liquid in it. This was something I was talking about before. I was trying to get to this. Now that I have a flare bottle, this is so much more fun to practice with that I almost don't feel motivated to use the glass bottles anymore, and that alone is keeping me safe. Because you guys probably didn't know this if you haven't been following me for a while, but I actually practice barefoot, which is one of the main reasons, that and money, is one of the main reasons why I don't serve guests at this bar. I was joking. Oh. Well then. That's okay. Alright guys, raise him if you got him. You already know the drill. We're going to do camera 1 over here this time. If you have a glass, fantastic. If you don't have a glass, that's okay. And if you do have a glass but don't have alcohol in it, that is okay too. I'm not going to be upset with you. But thank you guys for tuning in, sticking around, showing up in chat. You guys make all this possible, so here's to you. Cheers. Oh, yeah. It burns so good. Just like my ex. Anyway. I feel like the brand for my Twitch live streams is very quickly becoming different from the brand for my TikToks. Speaking of which, though, TikToks, I have an editor now, and we're slowly like getting him acclimated. He and I are more accustomed to. I'm more accustomed to how he edits and what his expectations are, and he's getting more used to like how I record and what my pre-production planning process is like. So we're right on the cusp where a lot more videos will be coming out a lot more consistently, smoothly, higher quality, which means I will have time finally again to record and edit TikToks. And one of the reasons why I haven't been just like cranking them out is because I feel like the best ones that I do are the ones where I tell a story. And if I have the chance to tell a story, I have a better chance at actually communicating the point. And by the way, there's always a point to the content that I make, except for my Twitch live streams. These are just for you guys. Do you play Super Smash Brothers? From why I do that, I was very heavy into Super Smash Brothers for a long time. Most recently, I haven't gotten back into it since, in any kind of competitive sense, I haven't really gotten back into it since 2014, I think. 2013, 2014. Solid Rock, what's up, man? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up. But I do have the most recent version. I believe I have all the characters unlocked that you can have, and my Switch is actually over there. I'm not great at it. The same way... Oh, by the way, Isaac, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. The same way that if I was a villain, I would be the kind of villain who's just lovable because I only do things that slightly inconvenience people. Very strategically inconveniencing people. And actually, my coworkers will tell you that I'm already this villain at work. I'll do things like I'll take all the pens from the hostess stand. They don't actually need them, by the way, for the record. I'm not really severely inconveniencing anyone who already isn't trying to take a shortcut instead of doing their job. But I used to take all the pens out of the hostess stand because none of the servers should ever be at the hostess stand unless they're seating a guest, and you don't need a pen to do that. So what was happening is there were so many pens ending up at the hostess stand because the bussers didn't want to have to figure out, well, which server station needs pens right now. So they would all just deposit them at the hostess stand when they dropped off menus that they would pick up from the tables. And then servers caught on to this, so they only ever went to the hostess stand for their pens instead of taking pens from the POSs. The reason this was a pain in my ass, and the reason I took to this extreme recourse was because it happened to the bartenders too. So the bussers would come and they would clean the bar and they would take our pens and leave them at the hostess stand. And I love my servers to death, but I need pens behind the bar. I can't afford to walk out from behind the bar to try and find pens out in the wild when I have to make all of the drinks for the entire restaurant and the bar. You have time to find a pen when you have a 6-table section. I don't have time to find a pen when I'm making drinks for 150 people. I wonder what this looks like on YouTube, actually. I wonder if I should just have 2 streaming setups. One that goes to YouTube, and one that goes to... I could actually... Hold on. Brain blast. I could do this, because the ATEM has 2 USB ports, which means theoretically it only has 1 internal graphics card, I believe, but theoretically you can connect it to 2 different computers. The drawback if I did that is that I wouldn't be able to record my live streams. This looks fine. Cool, cool. What about this? Is this uncomfortably close? Can you see my pores? They're real, I promise. They're not drawn on. I realize now they look like I stenciled on. Like, they're real. They move. They're itchy and scratchy. Just like my ex. Anyway. Better. Great. Fantastic. You did not ask about my D&D character. His name is Exer. He is a ranger, level 6, and 30-foot walking distance in combat. Okay, cool, cool. If he's a ranger with 30 feet walking distance, does that mean he's a gnome or a halfling? Or a kobold? Because you should... if you're level 8 and you're a ranger, I think you have increased movement speed. Unless... I know barbarians do, and I know monks do. I feel like rangers would. Tyler Bees, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. I appreciate it. But what race is your D&D character? He's a high elf. Okay, so maybe you just don't get improved walking speed then. What kind of high elf? There are different kinds. And what... I get really nerdy because I come into D&D from being a DM mostly. So I get very bogged down in like minute details. Yeah, what's your subclass for ranger? What do they call them? Enclaves. Conclaves? Enclaves for rangers? Is it Gloomstalker? Because that's what everyone plays. It's the most viable build. No, I don't. I don't switch? Is that what that means? Which I don't care. Oh, you don't have the improved movement speed, so you don't care. Got it, got it. I wonder, by the way, what the delay in time is like between when you guys post comments and when I can read them. I wonder, actually, there's an easy way to test this. I could just comment myself and see how long it takes to show up. Go into my own Twitch chat. Hold on. I have a very scientific way of testing this. Oh, it's instant. Okay. I was gonna type in uptime twice to see like what the difference in time was, but it's actually instant. As soon as you guys comment, I see it. So for YouTube, it's 5 seconds. Okay. That might be me, not YouTube. That might just be that I am an idiot and it takes me forever to read stuff. I used D&D. How exactly do you make a D&D character? I use D&D Beyond. This is the question from Tyler Bees. I use D&D Beyond to create a character, but like, do you mean like, what drives me to make D&D characters? This, by the way, was a sign that I knew that I needed to be a DM before I needed to be a player. Before I even played my first D&D game, I think I made in the neighborhood of like 12 characters. And then I realized, like, I was already thinking about how all of these characters would play together, and that's when I decided, you know what, I need to stop. Because I'm not going to be able to play 12 characters at once. Unless I'm the Dungeon Master, in which case I get to play all of the characters except for the ones that my players are playing. So, which is also the response I give to people when they're like, oh, I really want to be the DM, but I also want to have my own character. It's like, dude, you have all of the characters in the entire world except for like 4 or however many players you have in your campaign. You can fit the characters you want to mess with in there. And also, I don't typically make characters that I have a long-term story that I want to tell. I typically think of a lot of backstory for an interesting character that has some sort of interesting mechanic like Orin, and then I let them loose, which makes it fun when you're a DM. It makes it a little bit difficult when you're my DM because my characters have nowhere to go, really. Well, Orin has a specific thing that he's trying to do, but I've left so much of his like goals and things that are going to happen to him up in the air that I feel like my DM is constantly trying to feel out whether or not he's stepping on my toes. And Zach, if you're watching this, you're doing a great job. You haven't done anything that would make Oren upset or make me upset. I'm having a great time playing. I wonder, actually, I don't know if I want to treat it this way. We were talking about whether or not we want to have a 5th player back in the campaign. And some names were thrown in a hat together, and we actually decided that we just had probably the best session we've ever had in the campaign so far, in terms of like how much we covered, how long we got to play, how much character time everybody had, and also just really fun role-playing moments that we pulled out of nowhere. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the VOD is now on YouTube, and you can also find it on Twitch. It's session 18 for The Right People. We all play a bunch of con men and stuff, and 3 of us have some kind of theater or performance background. So we get, or 4 of us actually, so we get up to some really weird stuff sometimes. So we just had this really great session, and we were talking about whether or not we wanted a 5th person, and I think the consensus is yes, but we're actually coming into our own groove having 4 people, and it's kind of one of those like too many cooks spoil the mash sort of situations. But what I want to propose to my DM, maybe once we have stability with where our characters are going, because we're sort of traversing this major transitional arc right now, once we figure that out, or once we know what the trajectory is, I want to see if we could maybe cycle people in for 2 sessions at a time, which means every month, ideally, we would have somebody who could sub in for that 5th slot every month. And then, if we have someone on who, because I really want to play with Isaac, if you're still in chat. I really want to play with Isaac, and then I have some other friends that I think would have fun in this particular campaign. And I think you guys would have fun as well. By the way, that is the character that is the one that is in the campaign I am in right now. Why I do that, I don't know if you posted a link to your character sheet or something, but or are you just saying that the high elf character, the ranger that you use, is the character that you're talking about? The character you made on D&D. Waffle, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. I appreciate it. I prefer this like wooden aesthetic now. It's, if I had the like chroma key settings a little bit more fine-tuned, I would like to believe that it would almost blend in with the bar, which would be ideal. I think when we do the new bar setup, though, I think I'm going to put a TV back there instead of just the green screen. I heard D&D talk. What's up? Well, it is Sunday, where we normally talk about Dungeons & Dragons. And we've just been talking about character creation, how to use D&D Beyond, what sparks character creation. Oh, sorry, I never actually finished that whole tangent. For me, I don't fully min-max my characters. I always make sure that there is some sort of weakness, an obvious one, and I try to lean into that. So for Oren, being a barbarian, there's a couple of things. You would think it would be his intelligence, but it's not. He actually has a 10 intelligence. He's pretty smart. He actually saved us a whole lot of time in this last session. I don't want to spoil it. Go back if you want to know what I'm talking about, or ask. And so it's not that. His wisdom, though, is 9, so he rolls at a -1. He doesn't have proficiency in like insight and stuff like that, and he's a bugbear from like a mountain tribe that is hardly, they're seen like once or twice a year, so they're almost like mythological. Like people don't believe that they exist. So he's one of them, and that's all interesting and well and good and stuff like that. But what this means is that he's socially dumb. So there's a lot of like where he doesn't understand certain things. I bring a lot of the stuff that I had to kind of learn with and sometimes teach to my mom and my dad growing up, because I grew up in the U.S. I wasn't born here, but I grew up in the U.S. My parents didn't, so they sometimes never really knew how to pick up on these social cues because they had to learn this stuff while they were at work from other adults. And when you're an adult, no one really sits you down and goes, hey, listen, I know your heart is in the right place, but you can't just say that in public. Or, I love you to death. No one knows what you're talking about. Oren, though, leans into that. I definitely, go for any opportunity to just spout off about something that Oren is not really equipped to talk about at all. Which leads to some really funny, interesting moments. And it gives Oren this opportunity for character growth as well. So, find a weakness, lean into it, play an interesting character, know your motivations, stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I start, though. I think I typically start with what I think is an interesting character concept. So sometimes it's a single mechanic, or sometimes it's trying to figure out a way to make an existing race or subclass more interesting, or at least viable, or finding a twist. So for Orin, I wanted to play some sort of goblinoid, because I felt like, playing a character that is already sort of on the fringe of civilization, and goblins are really flexible in a lot of fantasy settings. They can be mindless mobs. They can also be fully intelligent and civilized societies in some settings. So I decided I would pick a goblin, and then I decided I would pick a bugbear, which is a form of goblin. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. And so I was looking at the benefits and things that they get, and I decided they get a natural proficiency in stealth, which is cool. And they get something, it's not Dread Ambusher, because that's from Gloomstalker. I think they just get something called Ambusher, or something like that, where they get an extra 2d6 of damage if they can attack in the first round while the target is surprised, which is a whole mouthful. But Val the Small Bean, hello, welcome, thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat, I appreciate it. So I was looking at all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, the sneak attack and the stealth proficiency makes a lot of sense when you're playing with a group of con men who are trying to operate in the shadows. So I thought, what is everyone else going to do? And I thought, this bard character who can kind of just convince people to do anything, or convince anyone of nearly anything. That's my brother's character. That's Anvir. So he's kind of like the Neil Caffrey of the group, right? If you guys have watched White Collar. Reed's character, Alistair, is a mastermind. He is our rogue, but he's a mastermind rogue. So he is the brains that help everything go smoothly. So he would be more along the lines of Michael Ross in Suits, or James Spader's character in The Blacklist, Raymond Reddington, or... No, we'll just leave it at those two for now. So I was like, those are two great examples, and those are kinds of characters that I want to play. So I thought about it what kind of character am I least likely to play? And I'm already deciding to play a bugbear. So I was like, well, you know what? They have a bonus to strength, so I'm going to play a strength-based class. So I decided on... But basically, long story short, I mean, this is already a long story long, but that was my character creation process for Orin, from start to about halfway through. Did I send you my D&D character in D&D Beyond? If you tried to post a link in chat, the bots will scrub the link, so nobody can click on it, and that's just there for everybody's safety. Because even if... Handy Manny, welcome. Thank you for tuning in and showing up. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Even if you post something and you're like, hey, here's the link to my D&D character sheet, I have no way of knowing that that's true, and everyone else in chat doesn't know that either. So I don't know that you're not posting like a link to OnlyFans or Pornhub or something like that. So that's why I only let my moderators post links. If you want to share links, you can do that stuff in the Discord too. Cake Bite, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? This is what chat looks like, by the way. Well, you guys can see it already, right? Or no, sorry, it doesn't show up this way on Twitch and YouTube. I was surprised that my encoder actually already came with settings to use Restream, because theoretically it should be against terms of service. Pretty good. I've been followed for a minute. Well then, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up. Amen. How's the family? They're doing well. Rosalie, well, they're doing well, except that I might be coming down with something, and Rosalie definitely has some kind of cold that she's fighting right now. Hannah seems to be mostly good, but our big thing right now is getting everything ready for Rosalie's first birthday. By the way, if you guys don't know, Rosalie is my daughter. She's almost 1 year old. Her birthday, I think, is this Saturday? I'm really bad with numbers, but I know when her birthday party is, and I don't want to tell you guys because I don't want anyone to show up randomly. Her birthday is September 3rd, but she's turning 1 year old, so we're trying to coordinate all the party stuff. The party's actually happening here at the bar. So Friday, I have to pack up all of the cameras and get them out of the way and move all the cables, which means Sunday when we play D&D, there may be like a pretty significant amount of setup that I have to do, and some of these cameras may be in brand new positions that you guys didn't even know existed. Just like my ex. I followed from TikTok and the tricks. Oh, sweet. Cool. Have you seen my practice bottle? This was actually a gift. It's a pretty awesome gift, actually. I feel like this is a good gift even for, like, if you have a friend who just enjoys making drinks at home, I feel like this is a good gift for them too. Because I am the kind of person, because of the way that I'm wired, I enjoy doing things with my hands. So even like regular conversation is easier for me if I can do something with my hands, mostly because I know how to do these tricks, but I don't know how to hold a conversation. I'ma need one of those. My TikTok got banned for no reason from Handy Manny. Yeah, like, man, I'm surprised I haven't been banned yet. It sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you, but honestly, I'm wondering at what point I'm going to just start to toe the line, and I just realized the music has stopped. So give me 1 second. Alright, you guys let me know if the music is too loud. Do you still work at Redacted Bar? You don't have to do that. Yeah, well, sorry, no, I don't work there anymore, but you're talking about Dilworth Tasting Room. I've gotten the verbal permission from the owner to mention the name of the bar. The only thing that I've been prohibited from doing is mentioning his name, which admittedly I've probably done on stream before, but, you know, such is life. But yeah, for those, and if anyone's wondering where I used to work at a bar called Dilworth Tasting Room in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you go in there and ask about me, I'm sure they're gonna have a lot to tell you because I worked there for 4 years. I worked there for 4 years and a day, actually, in point of fact. Which was fully intentional. You know, the longer I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking, like, I wonder if I could mount the camera right there, right underneath that speaker. Just making sure I didn't want to get you in trouble. I appreciate that. And actually, I had somebody point out to me last week in a video. I had another bartender who, probably a fine guy, right? I don't have an issue with this man. But he mentioned me in a video where he clipped, or sorry, he didn't, because that's not exactly right. He stitched a video that I had made talking about the question that I had from a viewer was, how complicated can I make my drink order? And so, Ravina, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. Or welcome back, sorry. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. And STEM on Arc, welcome. Any bartending schools you recommend for someone out of high school to go and learn? School of Hard Knocks, man. Just get behind the stick. Yeah, we'll circle back to that here in a second. So this guy made a video. It was in response to someone who had asked me, how complicated can I make my drink order? And at the beginning of my video, all I said, I read the question and I said the simple answer is don't. Suffice it to say, you should never be the person who just goes out and tries to make someone else's job harder. If you honestly don't know how to order a drink, that's obviously different. So this guy clipped only that section fully out of context, and which is fine. It served his video, and it's the most popular video he has to date, so you're welcome, guy. And then he went on actually to make a very good saline point that I fully agree with, which is that we serve guests, not drinks. And then went on to describe 3 situations where he actually did just serve drinks and not guests, but that's besides the point. He had a very good point at the beginning. He just didn't understand my video, and I commented on his video, and he kind of apologized for making the video in the first place, so there's that. I believe this man is a good guy. He's been in the industry for 15 years, so he's not pulling the shit out of his ass. So this idea that we serve guests, not drinks, means that you should never feel embarrassed to have to ask about things on the menu. That being said, don't ask about everything on the menu. Don't ask what we have, don't ask what's good, and don't ask what's in something unless you can't find it on the menu. How's JL doing? Well, I think he has gotten up from the couch, so he's probably sleeping a lot better now than he was before. But talking about bartending schools that I recommend, I don't get paid to say this. I am, by the way, full disclosure, I am technically partnered with one... School isn't really the right term. I'm partnered with one program, WooTalk, who is the owner and personality behind Bar Chemistry. You guys have probably, hopefully, seen him on TikTok. He has over 1 million followers on there. He's the one who supplied me with all of these, not all of these shakers, but all of the really cool ones. So he offered me a promo code for a class that he's offering soon, which is great. I haven't really pushed it because I don't want to feel like I'm asking for people's money, and I want to test the product first, right? If I don't know what he's going to teach people, I don't want to tell all you guys, yeah, here, go check this out. I have faith in him as a person, and everything that he's released so far as his like physical stuff. His tools are great. His rhetoric, the stuff that he talks about, is all on point. And he also has a free crash course that you can check out now if you go to Bar Chemistry, which is 1, how to become a bartender, which is not as hard as it sounds, but also 2, how to get the most out of being a bartender, right? Beyond the things that most people associate with bartending, which is like, you know, the like rock star lifestyle, the like easy money, like meeting interesting people and all that stuff, and really like how to leverage all of that stuff, how to make the most of all of the other free time that you have when you make enough money in 3 days that someone working a minimum wage job would have to work 5 to 7 days in a week to make. So, you know, how to leverage your potential free time, how to leverage your extra income, how to leverage the connections that you make when you're behind the bar, stuff like that. So that's a free course. You can check it out on his website. That's obviously not sponsored. I don't get paid to sell stuff for free. That doesn't make any sense. Another one that I would recommend would be Bar Smarts, but that's really expensive. And even then, it's not going to teach you how to become a bartender. It's not a reputable certification, but it is a good backbone for the things that you will need to know once you are behind the bar. I only took the course because my company paid for it, because they were like, hey, everyone take this course. This word is gospel now. And so we did that. I was the only bartender that actually took and passed the exam. And so then they were like, yeah, we're going to throw all of that stuff out the window. So here we are. I would still recommend it, though, because it did fill in a lot of gaps in my knowledge, which just means it was stuff I never needed to know. But it's always good to have this information and not need it, than need that information and not have it. So it filled in these gaps I didn't know I had. And it also gave me a reference point so that if someone asked me, hey, where did you learn that? I could tell them, oh, well, there's this course. They talked about like the history of the liquor and also the cocktail and how to make it. You know, different stuff like that. It's just reassuring to have that. And it'll also reinforce some of the stuff that you probably already know, because being completely self-taught like I am, or having to learn on the go just from observing other people that have been behind the bar with me, and listening to them all of the time, I wanted to make sure that I had something that was based in some kind of reputable fact. So that was reassuring to me that I had something, even if it wasn't accredited, I had something that I could point people to and be like, here, this is one way that I learned. Instead of going, oh, where'd you learn to be a bartender? Oh, well, you know, YouTube is a great thing, and so is Google. Because that's not an acceptable answer, not for your guests. Your hair has a green outline. It looks really cool. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I wish it wasn't there. It's because my chroma key settings are not optimized right now. Is JL down here? Because he said, like, yeah, man, I'm going to take a nap, and then I should be right as rain. Those were almost exactly his words. He did use the phrase right as rain, which makes me believe Jean-Luc may not actually be here, and this may be a time-traveling Jean-Luc from the past. Also, this is my flare bottle. I didn't mean to cut to camera too, but since we're here now. Ooh, baby. Alright, that's enough of that. I'm not trying to violate TOS. Not any more than I probably already have. Oh, he stirs. Never mind, maybe Jean-Luc's awake. And also down here. That, or somebody broke into my house and slept exactly where Jean-Luc was sleeping. We're gonna find out soon. Hopefully. Got it. Nailed it. That's Jean-Luc. That is not an ideal way to catch your flare bottle. There is nothing but the tips of my fingers on this thing. I'm surprised it doesn't slip. This thing's pretty smooth. Yeah, there we go. I will say, having a flare bottle, I am getting a little bit more reckless with these tricks, but it's also lossless because I don't have to worry about the thing breaking or spilling anything. My concern is that without thinking, and this nearly happened before when I was making the, when I was pouring the shot of Fernet and I was throwing the bottle around, I very nearly forgot how much liquid was in there because this is empty. You can put liquid in this to practice, but I almost forgot how much liquid was in the Fernet Branca bottle, and if I had started really throwing that around, I would have repainted some of the ceiling, which would have been weird, and maybe some of the carpet too. Alright, pouring Jean-Luc a shot when he gets back. didn't sneeze, I dabbed. Potential John-Luc couch cam? Well, I mean, yeah, but that window is closing. Hi, I'm back. Welcome back, dude. Actually, now that you're back, we can talk to John-Luc a little bit about his D&D characters next. Oh, John-Luc's only played D&D 5 times, I think. He played a Warforged Ranger with me in a previous campaign. He's playing a half-elf bard who's picking up paladin now. He's also played, I think, a Loxodon fighter and Loxodon fighter. He played another Warforged Ranger. It was a Drake Warden Ranger in a one-shot that I did, and no, he's played 6 or 7. I've run John-Luc through so many one-shots that I forget all of them sometimes. How long do your sessions last usually? Normally I recommend 4 hours, but we were trying to fit them into like 2 or 3 hours for a long time. Ideally, I think D&D should kind of be like bartending, right? What I mean by that is you don't make plans after work when you're a bartender. Or you shouldn't. If you do and you're getting away with it, congratulations, you're living your best life. But I'm like that. The only thing that I plan to do after D&D every night is make sure that I eat something and that I can get back to my family, and that's it. Aside from that, I commit like the whole night. So we start at 7. If we played from 7 until midnight, that would be fine. My cutoff would probably be 5 hours for these sessions, just because I need to make sure I can get home and get sleep and stuff. Oh, did you want a shot of Fernet, John-Luc? Oh, I can't see them from here. They definitely are. You can not be on camera if you like, or I can turn this around, and then you can just sit down the entire time. Camera 4, the mobile camera. I can still see chat right here, which is kind of weird. What if that was camera 4? No, it'd be way too hard to watch. I like this. I might pitch it up a little bit, but I like this because obvious product placement is here, and it just feels like it's pushed in too far. I wonder if I need to push the camera back. I can't widen the lens, so I feel like I need to either push the camera back or pitch the camera up higher. But if I do that, you guys are going to see the ceiling, and I have a weird thing about people seeing the ceilings in frame. It works fine if I'm like crouched down, but then on camera 1 I look very short. There we go. That's my real height, everybody. That's me on my tips of my toes, but that's my real height. Can you say hi to John-Luc for me? Yeah, I feel like the dad joke here would just be to say hi to John-Luc. John-Luc, why I do that says hi on Twitch.
Why I do that?
Also, did you know we're live streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time?
I didn't know.
This is the new normal now. Somehow I figured out how to do that and change the chat and the chat overlay in 20 minutes before I went live today. And I spent all my... It wasn't perfect, alright? I know that before anyone points that out. It wasn't perfect as soon as we went live, and it's not perfect now. But it's working. It's serviceable. So is that's a yes to the shot of Fernet, but a no to being on camera.
Yeah.
That is totally fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Got it from net. Got it from net, baby.
Wait a second. God damn it!
It's probably one of my favorite
Tricks to learn.
Toe Gang, Second Saga. Welcome, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it, man. How's it going? I'm gonna hand these to John-Luc, who's off camera, really quick. Oh, that looks way weirder on camera 1. Sorry, that was for me, not for you guys. Kappa, me, when the new to the industry here are, well, sweet, welcome, thank you for showing up. Are questions on the industry allowed? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm as comfortable answering those questions as, like, in fact, more comfortable answering those than, like, personal questions about myself. How'd you get in? Front of house, back of house, server, bartender, barback, busser, food runner, dishwasher, line cook, chef, GM. Be weird if you just started in the industry and got a GM position. That would be hats off to you, sir, if that's the case. Hold on, wait. There we go. Hats off to you, sir. Well, you've got it now, even if you're not GM. Right now, I'm a barback, interested in becoming a bartender. Cool, cool. That's sort of the route I went. I happened to be able to expedite my way through that because I had, I actually had experience behind the bar from being a craft barista, but it's a very rare exception that happens, so I'm exceptionally lucky that I got the opportunity that I did. But even with that, I had to bar back before I became a bartender, and it made me a better bartender because I did. Your greatest asset when you are a barback is that you get exposed to all of the same things that the bartenders do. You just don't have to talk to guests. You don't have to. You can. You'll be better at your job if you do a little bit, but you don't have to. Not normally, which means you get to just absorb everything that's going on behind the bar. So you don't have to take notes. You don't have to be that guy unless you really need to take notes to stay on track. But just like stay aware. Like try and somewhat file away the little things that happen behind the bar, right? Like if you like the way that one person makes a drink versus the way another person makes a drink, or one person sets up the well a little bit faster than the other person sets up the well, unless you're the person setting up the wells, because sometimes barbacks do that. Yeah, you have a really unique opportunity to get very good behind the bar before you even really need to impress any of your guests. Capitalize on that. But if you're already a barback, you're in the right spot. Typically, what I deal with most of the time when people ask, how do I become a bartender? How do I get into becoming a bartender or bartending? These are people who more often than not have no experience in the industry and they want to just be hired as a bartender. And the relative fact is that almost never happens. You have to ask yourself so many other questions before you know that that's a good decision to make. Things like, what style of bartending do you want to do? What is the pay rate like? How does tip out work? What are the guests like? That's a big thing, right? If you don't want to deal with like Chad Brads coming in, getting drunk, and like fighting all the time, maybe you don't want to bartend at a dive bar in a college town, for example. But if you feed off of that energy and you love the show and the energy of like people getting lively and having a good time, then maybe that is the atmosphere for you. There's a lot of important questions to ask yourself before you actually really get into bartending, if you're going to get the most out of it. But for you as well, I would recommend like check out check out Bar Chemistry's free course. It's like 4 10-minute videos where he talks about how to become a bartender, and he goes through the same situation that you did, right? He actually had to be a barback for a year. If I'm recalling this correctly, I think he was a barback for a year before he was given the opportunity to move up into becoming a bartender, and he only got to do that because during that time he really focused on learning as much as he could from the other bartenders around him. So he knew the drinks, he knew the steps of service, he knew all this other stuff. He just needed permission to make the drinks himself. What is your favorite syrup? Demerara syrup, in my opinion, has the ideal level of sweetness to turbidity. turbidity, if you guys don't know, by the way, is the measure of solids suspended in solution. So something like molasses is going to have a higher turbidity than something like simple syrup because it's opaque, it's dark. There are more solids in solution, and those solids more often than not will impart more unique flavors that you can unpack with your other ingredients. That's a really complicated answer to that question, but hopefully it helps. Yeah, I would use Demerara in anything from an old-fashioned to a daiquiri. I think the only thing I wouldn't use it in might be like a mojito, something that, or a gimlet, something that needs to be very crisp and refreshing. In that instance, I'd probably just use rich, simple, or simple syrup. And I don't think, if you're talking about like store-bought syrups, I would either do simple syrup or agave, but you should never buy simple syrup from the store. You can make it at home, super easy. But yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Let me check. Camera 1 is still slightly bugging me. I feel like, and if I pitch it down, let me see where my absolute headline is here. I feel like it doesn't actually need to be pitched down. I feel like the camera needs to move farther away, and there isn't a good way to do that without raising the camera up like 6 inches. So you guys would be really looking down at my forehead, which would be kind of weird. All right, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Hold on. I'll be right back. Camera 3 for... Actually, hold on. Actually, I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Can you see me yet? It's me. Twice as much of me. So this has a single jointed hinge on the back, which just means that you can bend it at like a 90-degree angle. So what I'm gonna do here, oh god, these are not greased up, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort of push this a little bit out of the way. This is camera 1, and there's a chair underneath here, unfortunately. You guys can't see this, but there's a cart that has a lot of my hardware on it, and a chair behind that cart that basically just holds some power cords and stuff. Oh no. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Something might turn off. Let's just put that on the floor. The ATEM is plugged in here, so if I'm not super careful, we'll lose the camera feed and the mic feed. Okay, cool. Yeah, that looks good. Scoot this guy over. Move you. What does camera 1 look like? I'll do that. Actually, while I'm here, might as well go all the way. There we go. Everything's still plugged in, which is a small miracle. Did someone ever throw a glass at someone? No. And that kind of stuff really only happens if you're at a... Hello there. That kind of stuff really only happens when you're at a less than great bar. Okay. Yes. eat something, drink some water, or some Pedialyte. And we're back. What's camera 1 look like now? Oh yeah, it's a little bit better. There's like a little bit of depth. Ironically, now it feels weird that I'm not in the middle of the frame. Also, I normally stand here. I normally stand in front of this mat. It's never good enough. If I had something. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, cool. This might blow up while I'm doing this. And if it does, just remember, you saw it here first at twitch.tv/cointrick. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Oh, maybe it's a decompressed. Maybe it's ready for bottling. Oh, okay, cool. Now you have the new view of camera 1. Which, ironically, I don't hate this. And as far as camera 1 goes, this actually makes a little bit more sense because when I have guests, I normally ask my guests to stand here so that they can leave the bar if they need to. Or if I need them to. But yeah, this looks okay to me, to my brain. My brain! I heard blowing up. I'm interested. That was a canister of cider that I have been fermenting under pressure for far too long. I need to bottle that at some point. So maybe that'll be what I do with John Luke on Monday. I have 69 reward points for chat. Nice. I feel like my editors will either love this angle or hate this angle. But I do need to repitch the TV also, because you guys are kind of hard to read from here.
We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young.
That's significantly easier for me to read. Okay, cool. And I'll just push the TV flush with the wall when I'm done. That'll be easy. Yum. Well, hopefully. We've gotten to taste one of the ciders that I made. By the way, if anyone's completely lost on what we're talking about 2 months ago we made...
God damn it.
Wait, hold on, what was that? Antihydra? Or Antihedra, I don't know if that's how that's pronounced, but it's not Hydra. Welcome, thank you for tuning in, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. So a few months ago, I was doing a series during Mixology Mondays. We would do Brew Your Own, where I would teach you guys how to, and we would learn together how to make a bunch of stuff from scratch. So we've made beer, we've made cider, and we're still making mead. The mead is going to be a very, very long time before we get to taste any of it, unfortunately. Opinion on Dino Nuggets. I know for sure they came before chicken nuggets. No, I mean, I actually, for some reason, I prefer Dino Nuggets to chicken nuggets. There's something about, like, there's the nostalgia, the texture, the shape. I feel more invested when I'm eating Dino Nuggets because I know where the head of the nugget is, where the tail of the nugget is, where the feet of the nugget are. And I realize those aren't real things that should matter, but there's something that, feels reassuring about understanding the nugget that you're eating. Flare bottle. Also, this angle probably looks better for flare too. Quispy. Quispy Dino Nuggets. Why? Why you gotta be that guy? Why you gotta do that? I'm trying to figure out. So I feel, if I don't understand this super well because I'm trying to figure out which way do I pitch the camera so that the chat no longer shows up, because that it wouldn't show up in the recording, but it would look it does look very weird in the VOD and here on the stream. Nailed it. Got it. First try. It's the double spin that gets me. I feel like you can do a single spin, but if you're gonna do a double, I feel like you have to throw it up. And the trick here is to basically pull it toward your ear in order to get the catch to work. I just keep reading Quispy Dino Nuggets. Yeah, the practice bottle is definitely getting me to just try some things that are borderline ignorant, like trying to throw it behind my back and then catch it with my arm under my leg. Yes, I'm wearing shorts behind the bar. Judge me. This is another thing I need to master, is like how to land the bottle instead of bouncing it or catching it. This, by the way, is fully unnecessary for becoming a bartender. It's just kind of nice to know how to do this stuff. And even though I don't know how to catch it here, I can still, if I'm working with the right bottle, I can take this and I can throw it backwards and catch it on with my other hand. I think I can do that from the elbow also. Caught it, first try. I'm kidding, obviously I dropped it. What's the other catch that I'm familiar with, or the other landing that I'm familiar with is here. This one's tough because I feel like you have to be grabbing your own shoulder to get it right. And I feel like there's a cheat code to this where like there's a certain point of the bottle that you're supposed to look at. I don't know what point of the bottle that is, but it's not the top. I don't mean to brag, but I held my breath for that entire thing. Fun fact, by the way, I can only do that with my left eyebrow. I can also only wink with my right eye. I'll show you guys what that looks like really quick, okay? Camera one's probably gonna be better for this. Alright, so that's me lifting my left eyebrow. This is me trying to lift my right eyebrow. I feel like my right eye is like twitching trying to get it to work. I can't do it, I don't know why. And then for winking, I can wink my right eye. Sometimes I can do it without having to think so hard about it, like I'm about to have a brain aneurysm. This is what it looks like when I wink my left eye. I don't know why. But it actually makes sense because Since I can wink my right eye and raise my left eyebrow, that actually helps keep my left eye open. A lot of my catches are like that. Nailed it. First try. Oh my god. That's gonna be a really good caption, this post on Instagram later. By the way, a lot of you guys have been responding to those, and I apologize because I don't know how to find all of the responses. I only see them if I check my notifications like right after people respond to the post. I spent like 20 minutes today trying to figure out where those responses are hidden. They're not in my inbox, but I'm sure someone knows how to find them. Oh, there are other responses that have nothing to do with the questions I ask in my story times. But those responses are more like, "You're so pretty." Which is great, but not something I can share on my story. Opinion on chalky milk, one of the most underrated mocktails. Tell me I'm wrong. Surprised John Wick's still awake. Oh, I guess he's got a work thing he needs to be at. I'll pick that up here in a second. I was on a roll! This is why I could never be a flair bartender. I would never know when to end. There are flair bartenders who can do a whole sequence of flair and get a drink out in front of you in like 2 to 5 minutes. If I did it, it would never end until you told me, "Hey man, listen, this all looks great." That's really impressive. This all looks great, but I've been waiting here for our drinks for a while. Our food has already came out, and yeah, that's cool. Cool. If we could just have our drinks though, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. We'll just have shots, actually, if that's faster. That would be me if I was actually a flair bartender. I wouldn't stop. I would do it with empty bottles and empty tins. I would just be doing it. No one's sitting at the bar. No one even in the restaurant. People would walk in and wonder, what is that man doing behind the bar? And that's one of the reasons why I'm not actually a flair bartender. I just practice in my free time because I get bored easy. The most at work, when I was a full-time bartender, there were a few things that I would do. I need to make a video on this specifically because many of the things that I would do that were really impressive, most people wouldn't even consider flair. Wondering if I have a bottle back here that I could use as an example. I do, in fact. Alright, I'll show you guys one example here. Okay. I need to make this into a whole series, but basically, one of my favorite things to do, and this works with some wine bottles too, is I would grab the top of the bottle. I'll keep my bar clean. But I would grab the top of the bottle and then roll it from right to left. And if it has a screw top, the top will come off. The other thing that you can do, and one way to check this, by the way, is to make sure that this neck piece here spins back and forth. You see how it moves? So really, that's where your grip is. And then you take your pointer finger, you wrap it around the top, and then you just show you guys what that looks like on camera 3, because that's what guests see. So what I would do is I would go, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? Oh, you want a martini? All right," and then take the top off that way. That, though, I could really only ever do if I was opening a brand new bottle. Because if you have an open bottle, it should have a speed pour on it. But that brings up this idea that I had. I kind of want to do, I think I could do it in a TikTok because I'm pretty sure I could get it under 59 seconds. But I kind of want to do a video where it's like 4 or 5 techniques that you can use behind the bar that are not flair and are relatively safe, but it will pull the attention from the bar guests, right? Or even if you're not doing this for work, if you're at a party, it will pull some attention from people, right? And I'm not talking about doing stuff like, oh, whoa, all right, behind the back, and then, oh, over here, and then you're pouring. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about, like, really simple, grab with your left hand and your right hand, pull over here, let it roll down. Even that's probably too advanced, actually, but you could do that and then pour like that. And the idea is that because you have full contact all the time and the bottle never leaves your hand, you have full control, so it's relatively safe. What are some... Oh, another one. This one, the bottle will leave your hand. It takes some coordination, but not a ton. But something like taking the bottle out like this and then catching it. That's actually a huge thing for bartenders, apparently. I don't know why. But you can learn that. You can do this way. Or when you actually figure this, if you decide to practice this, then you can pull it out and catch it behind your back. And then from there you can do a bunch of other stuff with it. What were the other ones? I showed Hannah a bunch of these before. That's how I always pull from the well. Chief Justice, by the way, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. You do that one. I got in the habit of doing that because I was losing a lot of time by pulling bottles and going, how much is in there? So I would just go, whoop, and then I would register it really quickly. The most dangerous flair that I ever did behind the bar was this. I grabbed a bottle and I was like, how much is in there? Oh, that's a little bit of Tito's. Whoop. And as soon as it went behind my back, all I could think was, oh my God, what have I done? This is my last day at work. I'm gonna lose the rest of this Tito's. But no, I caught it, it was fine, but I never did that ever again. After that, the biggest flair move I would ever do is I would take a bottle and go, how much is in there? Oh, okay. Straight like that. Jean-Luc made it! He's alive! He's alive!
I do have to go to work.
We did move camera 1, so camera 1 is over there now.
Oh, yeah? Where? Hello, camera 1.
Which is nice, because that means you can look at camera 1 and you don't have to look away from chat, which is cool. Camera 2 has moved also. I covered all of the stuff I wanted to cover during the live stream, and technically, we're only live for 4 more minutes, or at least 4 more minutes.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Let's take a shot.
What is... You have a work thing that you're supposed to go to. What is it?
Oh, it's an app. So we're gonna be closed. We're just moving stuff around on the gym floor. So nothing crazy.
Are they gonna be upset if you show up drunk? Cause I don't. This is one of these don't do as I do things. I have definitely shown up to work drunk before, and you're not on the clock for this, right?
No, I am, but I'm not nearly drunk. Not nearly. That's why I suggested.
Okay, valid. So if I said let's do another shot of Fernet, you would say,
Hell yes,
okay.
brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Grab your shot glass. It's over there on the table. Thank you, Restream, for the vote of confidence. I appreciate it. I also just had to get 3 stitches, not from bottle flinging probably, but for slicing, slicing limes for a private party of 50 people who were crushing Moscow mules. The knife slipped off the lime and went into my middle finger. Oh yeah, I've had that happen before. That's, of course it always goes like, whoop, straight in, like that. The worst cut I ever had was from a chef's mandolin from cutting cucumbers. I never used a mandolin after that. I just decided, you know what, it would be safer to get very good at using knives. So, I'm not very good with knives. I'm okay, which is why I buy these ones. which last a really long time until your brother uses them to open a bottle. Grab the Fernet. I'll let you pull the shots.
Oh, they're up here. Okay. Oh, is it there? I mean,
It should be. But like the stuff I grab most often, I put over there. These are all of my liqueurs and obscure things.
the cures and obscures.
Yeah, pretty much. Liqueurs and obscures. The name of my future bar.
Obscures.
Cheers. Cheers. What?
What?
Well, yours has more than mine. Hold on, camera 2. We'll let the viewers be the judge here. It's a prime lens, and it's declicked, but it's hard to tell. But this is John Luke's, and this is mine.
I should pour more, right? Yeah. Pour a little bit better. There we are.
Perfect. Perfection. Okay. Cheers. Cheers. I got all of that in my mouth. That's what she said.
Chief Justice, thank you for outing me.
You should make... I should make an account for mocktail recipes. I can do those just as well on this account, I think. Hopefully. Get it out?
So, yeah.
Alright. Good luck at work.
Yeah. See you stream tomorrow?
Yeah. Same time.
So, yeah.
Same time, same place.
I will be here.
And...
I get to make it here for D&D talk.
Oh, that's fine. We're playing again on Sunday. We're actually playing on Sunday. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Hannah, Rosalie, and I will be here to like clean up and set up. And Friday, I may. Well, you'll be at work, but I'll be taking this stuff down for Saturday because that's or Sunday is her party.
Sunday? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, that's convenient because
Yeah.
I'm off on
Hunter, Reed, Colin, Dylan, a lot of people are going to be there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
This will probably just end up being the guy's space. So.
Lovely. Lovely. Okay.
Other than the stitches, I've had a pretty solid week. I developed 4 cocktails for my bar, and they all made the menu. Isn't that such a great feeling when you get to share stuff like that with people? Saturday is her party. I lied, John Luke.
Saturday. God damn it. Okay. I guess I'm gonna miss it.
No worries. We'll figure it out. Bye. More booze for me. Actually, John Luke and Hannah are really the only people I think we invited who could Reed, who could potentially drink more than me. That's not a flex. That's me worried about running out of liquor for everybody. Speaking of which, what should we have for the party? Because I don't... Well, I do. I would love to just be like, hey, everyone hop behind the bar. I'll show you guys how to make some drinks. We'll have lemons and limes and a bunch of syrups. It's going to be a good time. But I think people get intimidated by that kind of opportunity. And most people are like, I don't know. I don't want to make a bad drink and then waste your stuff. Which I appreciate. So, with that in mind, I'm wondering what kind of punch I should make. Hannah, I'm wondering what kind of punch we should make. We were talking about this before. There's also, obviously, there's going to be underage kids, but maybe really only 3 that would be old enough to come back here when they're not supposed to. What do you prefer, shaken or stirred? Depends on the drink. Stirred if all of the ingredients are alcohol, or if there's no citrus at all, or cream. Shaken if anything else. Does that make sense? Shaken for my refreshing cocktails, stirred for my boozy cocktails. That's typically my my preference. What if, for Rosalie's party, and granted Rosalie is not going to enjoy this at all, but the adults might. What if we used this guy? Kettle One Cucumber and Mint Botanical Liqueur. This is actually one of my favorite infused or flavored liquors to have behind the bar. It's so refreshing. Maybe too refreshing. What if we just did a batched Fresco? Oh, Reed opened this. That's right. What if we did a batched version of Reed's Strawberry Fresco? Which is not the official name of the drink. It's very similar to my existing Fresco recipe. Oh god, it crushed his heart when I told him that. I'm thinking about developing a cocktail with blackstrap molasses cordial. Depends on the process you use to make the cordial. Dried fig infused rum and cognac for my back pocket. Thoughts? It sounds like you want to do a savory cocktail, right? Which is like great. I would say find a tart fruit or liqueur, and that will help bridge the gap between the molasses, the savory notes of the molasses and all of the sweet notes, because of the malic acid content. So you could use apples if you want. I would recommend something like strawberries. And just for fun, I would say have some sort of balsamic reduction. You can also use balsamic vinaigrette. Have some kind of balsamic on the side, because that salinity will also help fight any sort of bitterness that might pop up in that cocktail, even if you only get to use it as a garnish. And it'll make a great garnish because it'll float on top. Man, so in my brain, I have this idea of like this is not your drink, but like a drink that kind of looks like a watermelon from the top down. So it's served up, and you use drops of balsamic to represent the watermelon seeds, and the drink is normally like sweet, crispy, tart. But whenever you manage to get one of these seeds, it's completely different. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Also, balsamic is heavy, so it might sink too. Make a batch of... Oh, that actually sounds so good. Make a batch of fortified Aperol Spritz with that. That sounds too good. I don't want to... So, like, my trepidation, too, even using that at all, is that it will become like water to the adults. People will be like, oh, it's like cucumber water. And it kind of is, but, like, I don't want it to be too easy to drink. I don't want people to be like, oh, shoot, I might need my kids to drive me home. And then I have to tell you, your kids are 8 weeks old, and they're twins. Colin, I'm looking at you. I don't think Colin's probably going to be fine. I feel like Candace won't drink. So a gastromolecular style cocktail sounds pretty tasty. Yeah, but without all the headache of using agar, and the gelatin and all that other stuff. But yeah, it'll do pretty much the same thing. Even if the balsam, which is what balsamic comes from, even if it sinks to the bottom, it'll create these little beads that will kind of have the same effect. It's just that they will be much harder to see. If I was going to do that, I would do a fake boba. I would do a big, colorful Collins drink, and then I'd sink little balsamic beads to the bottom. And it would be like fake boba. I wonder, actually I have black truffle balsamic here. So I may be able to just... I'll use a drop of it to show you guys what I'm talking about. Do I have a dirty glass? Yeah, I'll use a shot glass for this demonstration. So here we have water, which is the same, well, relatively the same density as alcohol, which is why it works well. It's why ice works so well in cocktails, right? Because the water doesn't separate away from the alcohol. So we have water here. I have black truffle glaze with balsamic vinegar. I'll show you guys what happens when you add a drop to this. See how it just kind of sinks to the bottom? They all kind of look like tadpoles. It's not exactly the effect that I was looking for. But I think because this is a black truffle oil originally, it wants to separate out naturally. But yeah, camera 2. If I put it down here, you can see that all of that has separated out to the bottom. Same sort of effect is what I'm looking for. With the right technique, you could make them look like seeds. Right now, they just kind of look like turds. And I'm wondering... Yeah, even if you shake it up, the density is so different, and the oil content is hydrophobic, so these things want to retain their shape. They've only barely mingled together from that little amount of shaking. And the smell is still there. I would do something like that. I wouldn't use this exact method. I would probably do some R&D to make sure that my truffle, oil, balsamic, whatever, has the right water content to it so that it forms neat droplets, or I would have to use like a very specific kind of syringe to only get one drop at a time, or a dasher bottle. But even then, to get it to work, you would need to add a little bit of water or oil. Oil will work too. Tell me if this if this could be a good cocktail. Coconut rum, half an ounce coconut rum, 1 ounce simple syrup, and the rest filled with OJ. Probably. It just sounds like a sweetened screwdriver, or a very broke painkiller. Sounds super sweet. But if that's what you like, go for it. Yeah, I think you need more acidity than OJ. If I'm remembering correctly, OJ has a pH of, I want to say between 5 and 6, or between 4 and 6. I would use lime, which is going to have a pH closer to 2. I would use a little bit of lime juice, or if you're using lime from concentrate, you can literally just like a little dash. It's going to make a huge difference. I would personally add more booze and perhaps pineapple juice. If you did that, you would be most of the way to making a painkiller, though. You just wouldn't have lime juice and cream of coconut, but you would have everything else. Right? Or am I getting painkiller confused with something else? My bad, no simple syrup. Then it is it's a screwdriver. It's a highball style cocktail. In theory, it should work, but I feel like it's gonna be a flat and flabby cocktail. And what that means is that there's only gonna be one note that you'll be able to pick up on. And it's not really going to go anywhere. It's not going to develop on your palate. It's also not going to be crisp and refreshing, meaning it's not going to come in and out just to refresh your palate. There's some lipid content in the oil, in the coconut that exists inside in the rum, the coconut flavor. I think you need something effervescent to break that up. You need something that will hit your nose as hard as the coconut will. So I would say potentially bitters, but I mean, as far as what's commercially available, I might recommend Peychaud's bitters, but yeah, because it's a highball cocktail if you make it that way. Add soda water to brighten it up with bubbles. Bubbles! Or grapefruit soda, actually. Grapefruit soda, orange juice, pineapple rum. That might work. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be an elevated screwdriver. Accept that first. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a highball style cocktail. But with that, guys, that is all the time that we have for tonight. We're a little bit over our time slot. Normally, if I had remembered, we would raid somebody at the end of the live stream, but we were having a good conversation, so I wanted to let it go on for a little bit. I don't have the time to find somebody to raid tonight, but thank you guys for tuning in, sticking around. The first live stream we've done on Twitch and YouTube. It does mean a lot to me. Hopefully, you guys learned something. Thank you guys for your help and support. Hopefully, I've been helpful and supportive for you all as well, since that's the way we do all of this stuff. The next live stream is going to be tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 p.m. EST. We're going to try YouTube and Twitch at the same time, because I'm trying to reach as many people as possible to make sure that everyone feels seen and feels heard. So those of you that did make it today, I really do appreciate it. And until tomorrow, see you guys then. Good night, everybody.